everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are going to have a lot of fun today. We're getting our rom-com-athon on, which I love that they coined that phrase. Well, we're talking about the Taste of Love rom-com-athon that aired this Sunday on the Hallmark channel. And they had 7 films as part of the rom-com-athon. And we are going to rank them today. And what do you think, Terry, about the rom-com-athon?
Interesting. Oh, I love the idea of it.
Yes.
It's a genius marketing.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
Yeah, I could do
It's
a
always interesting what
rom-com-a-thon
they pick, though.
every weekend. I could have
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
rom-com-a-thon.
Yeah, so they know their audience, but sometimes some of those movies are a head scratcher.
Yes. Well, so this was a pretty good. There's only 2 movies out of this rom-com-a-thon that I don't like.
Mhm.
So it was a pretty good marathon,
Yeah,
I would
actually
say.
wasn't. It is a
Yeah.
good
It
watch.
was a
Yeah.
pretty good one. But we wanted to talk about it at the beginning because, of course, Hallmark loves food movies.
Oh man.
Rom-coms love food movies. And I
Yeah.
thought it would be fun to kind of talk about some of our favorites that weren't included in this iteration of the rom-com-a-thon. I'll start. I wanted to go sort of old school, a couple of my favorites that they probably don't have the rights for anymore or whatever. But I love Recipe for Love. That's a favorite of mine with Daniel Panabaker
Yes.
and uh, and Sean with Daniel Panabaker and Sean Roberts. It is so swoon worthy. She's trying to help him write this cookbook, and he's a grumpy chef and doesn't want any help. And I joke that it has the Hallmark version of the ghost pottery scene, them kneading
Yes.
bread, which I'm a big fan of. And I love their chemistry. That is a favorite of mine. So I love that. And then another old school that I love is Taste of Romance with Terry Polo and James
Oh
Patrick
yes, I
Stewart.
was just thinking about that one.
She's the uppity French chef. He's the cool new man in the block with his like burger. I think it's a burger
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
place.
She's got the fancy French restaurant, and
Yeah,
that like
and Bailey
fire.
Madison will make you
Yeah,
die.
yeah. This movie is they don't
He
play
has
this
this
enough.
scene talking about her mom who's died. Oh,
Yes, it's this one is really really
yeah,
sweet.
it's
Yeah, I
really a
was
good
thinking
one.
about that one too.
Yes, those are 2 of my favorites. What about you? What are some
Well,
of
like I'm
you?
racking my brain here, and I had like a complete, a failure in that. But I was thinking of the Just Add Romance with Luke McFarlane.
Yes,
You didn't
that
mention
was
that
on
one,
my
did you?
list
No.
too.
Yeah, I do think that one's sweet. It's
Yeah,
early Luke McFarlane, like on Hallmark.
I really like it
And
too. And this was one that was like in between seasons, so it
yes,
kind of snuck in there. I remember it was like I think a beginning of April or something like that. So it was after Spring into Love, and so people a lot of times those ones are just kind of throwaway, not very
yeah,
good. And then we were all like, oh my gosh, this one's really good.
right. And there's also Dash of Love,
Yes, that was a
which is
favorite. That was one
yeah,
of the first that we covered on the podcast that I really loved.
yeah.
And it does the food really well. Like her crazy
Yes,
recipes,
yeah,
like
her great, yeah.
the ice cream cone chicken and things like that.
And also the one Truly, Madly, Sweetly with Nikki DeLoach,
Uh-huh.
which kind
Yeah.
of plays with it as well. It's very,
A lot of cupcakes in that one.
yeah, so if you want to
Yeah.
go more for the sweet tooth on
That
that,
one's fun.
that one is fun too.
I enjoyed You're Baking Me Crazy. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
That was they didn't have the best chemistry, but aside from that, I enjoyed it. And then I enjoyed South Beach Love. And that one had pretty good food. Another Taylor Cole.
Based on a Hallmark. I
Yeah,
don't
based
believe
on the
I've seen
book.
that one. Based on one of the Hallmark books. All
Yeah.
these books that they still have that they could be making those movies, and they
Hmm.
just I don't even know if they have the rights to it anymore, but
Yeah, I
Uh,
know some of them have been optioned by Harpeth Road over there. Jenny Hale,
Yeah,
like
so they will,
two
yeah.
of Terry Wilson's are now being published by Harpeth Road.
Yeah, I would imagine the bigger names that they got, that it'll be quicker to
Mhm.
get those books. I actually have a good majority of those books. I haven't gotten through all of them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so A Season for Love is a terrible barbecue movie. Like
Autumn Reeser
everything they have about
has,
barbecue is terrible, but
yeah.
Mark Lucas is super
That's the
swooning in
only,
that
yeah, he
movie.
is so sexy
He's
in that
really good.
movie. It's
It's
like when
not
he's
a
putting
great
that
movie,
barbecue
but
sauce. It's like it's not a good. I, Autumn Reeser, because she's got a movie on here too, but
uh-huh.
she has tons of food movies for Hallmark.
Yeah,
She's
it's true
got the
because
one on the boat where
it's
she's a
true
chef,
because we
with,
think of Lacey Chabert as the food
yeah.
one, but but Autumn does
She's
have a
got
few
she's got one where
on the
I think
boat.
Brendan Elliott is the chef, right? Yeah, but she's the captain
Yeah.
of a boat. Then she's got
Yep.
one with Kevin Smith too. It's like
Yep.
crazy. I was like,
Yeah, that's
okay,
true. That's a
you know,
good point.
she's got a ton of food movies.
I also love Pumpkin Pie Wars. That's a
Oh
favorite.
yeah.
I really think that one's good. So there's lots of good food movies
Totally.
from Hallmark.
I'm thinking less of, because they've thrown in some wine movies in here as
Oh,
well.
true.
And
Yeah.
I can't really think of any good wine movies that Hallmark has done. Like,
I think that Paris Wine and Romance is like unintentionally kind of funny. Like
oh
they have no
yes.
chemistry. It's not a great movie, but like the way that they had to hide her pregnant
That
belly,
is, it
that
is
was
so, it is
hilarious.
so funny.
They have her have the largest bag you've ever seen. And then she's going around Paris and literally she's just like handing out bottles of wine as if it's like a business card. Like, hi, nice to meet
It
you. Here's a bottle of wine.
is, it is very intentionally funny.
Yeah.
I would have just let that poor lady be pregnant. Like just come up with something. I mean, at that point in time, you probably
Yeah, I
couldn't,
agree.
but I would have been like,
Just cast someone else.
it
I'm
could have been,
sorry.
I know, like my husband just died. You know how many dead husbands and wives Hallmark has? Could have just wrote that in. Like that poor lady with a big bag,
Yeah,
like
it was so funny.
I think
But
the best person to ever make fun of that was on The Nanny.
yeah, that
When
was
they
really
when they
good
were
with
pregnant, they were like,
Cece.
"Oh yeah, oh." When they try to hide it, it's so obvious, and they made a joke of that. That was so great the way they did that.
Most of the wine movies are terrible.
They are.
They're really boring, but I do like the first Vineyard movie. The
Yes,
with
Autumn in
Brendan
the
Elliott
Vineyard,
and
correct. Yes,
Rachel.
I
Yeah.
forgot about those. I've
The
erased them from
first
my
one.
mind.
The rest of them are not for me.
Not great. Just
But
sometimes you gotta let things be one and done.
most
You
times.
know? Yeah.
In most times in Hallmark, it just does not work for sequels. That's why I'm
There's
nervous
a
about this Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm really,
oh, I know.
really
And there's
nervous
a
about it.
whole bunch of mysteries movies too, where chefs and all these other like solve
Oh,
murders,
you're right. Yeah.
makers.
Well,
There's a
yeah.
slew of them. Yeah.
Well, of course, Gourmet Detective,
Yeah.
and then the ones with Holly Robinson Pete.
Oh,
She's
yes, yes.
morning show chef.
I love those movies for what I mean, it's I love it because Holly Robinson Pete is like the bestest friend in all those movies. She's running around like I have got to solve all these murders of these white people.
Yeah.
And like I gotta help my white friends. And it always laugh because it's like I was like, why would you? It's, it's, it's like a diverse cast, but not really. And she's running
Yeah.
around. And it
Well,
always makes me laugh. I was like, she is invested in all her white friends and helping
yeah.
them get out of jail. And it always made me laugh.
Well, why is this morning show chef looking into crime? Like, why? Like, it was just so ridiculous that it was funny.
I
But
know.
yeah, and of course you've got all the Christmas movies.
Oh, so many
You've
Christmases. Yeah.
got Christmas cookie movies galore, all
And
different ones.
there's even like a subgenre with the cookies, with the
Yeah,
gingerbread cookies
yeah.
movies. There's a ton of them
There's
too. It's
the one where they have the life size
yes. Isn't
with
that one with
Tia.
Lacey, I think? Oh no, yeah, they did both. Yeah, Lacey had a gingerbread movie too.
Yeah, Lacey had
Oh man.
one.
It's its
Yeah.
own. It's like it's cookies, then it's gingerbread.
Well, yeah, and in Matchmaker Santa, she's a chef.
Yeah. And I don't even like gingerbread. I was like, okay, calm down, people. It ain't that great during Christmas.
Well, and I mean,
Sorry.
especially usually if it's being like if it's like the hard gingerbread that you need for the houses, it's
Yeah,
horrible.
it
It's
is.
it's bad.
You
But
can't
if
eat any of that stuff. That's
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
But anyway, let's talk about this rom-com-athon.
Yes.
And there's 7 movies total that aired on Sunday.
Yeah.
And let's do what's your number 7? Let's do it.
Boy. I watched this movie early this morning because I'd never seen it before. But A Taste of Summer.
Yeah, it's not good.
Why, Rachel? I don't understand how married people don't have chemistry on screen together. There had to have been some kind of real life spark
Yeah,
for
I thought
them
about
to
this a
get
lot
married.
because
But it doesn't
almost
translate.
Yeah, I think the problem is because almost always the married couples fall flat. There've been a couple that have worked, but I think the problem is it's the comfort level. I think that when you're married, obviously you're used to each other, you're comfortable with each other, and I think that on screen that comfort level can read as apathetic and just not have that like energy and spark that you need. Like I don't know, that's my best guess of why it doesn't translate.
It
Almost
just does
never.
not translate, and it did not translate here. And he was miserable. How did she fall? How did she even like this guy? You know, because his need to be better and one up her at every time. He was just the most annoying love interest. Like I could really
and they were apart for so long. There was the movies. There wasn't enough chance for them to really like build like any chemistry.
And the movie is trying to tell us that he is changing his ways due to her. And I was like, I don't think so.
No.
I mean, they kiss at the end. That's how we know they're going to get together. Give it a couple of months and she's going to be like, no, she's going to be burning down his restaurant is what's going to happen.
I mean, they just weren't together enough. There weren't enough flirty moments. The acting was very wooden and it was weak. The script, the conflict didn't even start like I thought it was going to be like from the ads. I thought
conflict, Rachel. I
thought from the ads that it was going to be this like rivalry between but it's really like A Taste of Romance, where this rivalry between these two restaurants.
Baseball.
It's not. It's about like catering.
It's about that little league team that he coaches.
Yeah, it's
more than that.
There was very little conflict. I said it was that the conflict starts way too late. It's too little, and it
barely anything of the competition, which you would think that would be the forefront.
Yeah.
And I did laugh because she had an accent and her sister did not. And I know, listen, that can happen. You're born in one country, you come here, and another siblings are born, they don't have the accent, but it made me laugh. It was the only thing that I chuckled at this movie. I sat there
Well,
and I was like, oh gosh, let's just
I
no.
have to say though, my number 7 though
Yeah,
is My Secret Valentine. I really dislike this movie.
yeah. This is my
I
number
just
6.
the
Yeah.
thing is that like her character is actively unlikable, and that takes a lot to make Lacey Chabert unlikable is hard. But like
Yeah.
he was helping her the entire day. Like he was going out of his way. So for her to then come home and be like, this annoying guy, blah, 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 is just, it's nonsensical. It doesn't make, it just makes you dislike her because it's like,
I
why
get
are
that
you
she
so
was
ungrateful? Like, why are you behaving this way? And like, just the whole thing with her dad and her,
but I get her
I just
being a little bit
really,
angry with her dad because even though she didn't want to take over the business, he should have told her though that he was selling it. He should have given her a more advanced warning to all that.
I
So I
guess,
understand
but
some of the conflict of that, but yeah, it's. I hope they just get
I just really
Walker and
disliked
Lacey
it.
Chabert together again for something else, you know.
And they have him like putting on all these accents, really trying to like charm these investors and these people and everything, and her attitude is just so unpleasant. You're just like, what's wrong with you? Like this person is literally helping save your business. And
Well, she's nicer to him when she doesn't know that he's the one fixing up the cabin, the handyman or something.
mhm,
You know, she's nicer to
yeah,
that version. But
kind
it's
of.
it's that whole
I just really
enemies to
disliked her
lovers type
character.
of, yeah, it's
That
the enemies to lovers trope that doesn't really work for
But
this one.
it has to, you have to have some reason for her to like for her to dislike him. Like
She's cranky. She's
that
cranky, Rachel. She's tired. She doesn't know it, but it was that big city life
I
that's making her
guess it was the
cranky.
big city life. I
Yeah,
mean,
made
it
her
just made
cranky.
her
Yeah. I
and
hope these two pair up again and do another movie. Like play a married couple or
like
something like that, you know.
in the perfumery stories, they don't like each other, but they actually have done something to make each other upset. Like
Oh,
they
yeah,
actually have
absolutely.
made,
Yeah.
they've been working together or working against each other, or there's some reason like for them to not be getting along in real life, but they're writing these letters to each other. And in here you have this whiteboard or whatever that she's writing, she's venting on, and but the previous behavior over the course that like there's no reason for her to be upset with. It just doesn't make any sense. And so like I guess I would rather, if I was forced, neither of these movies are good, but if I was forced, I would rather watch A Taste of Summer because
Hmm.
I just think it's like just like meh. Whereas like
Yeah.
this is actively frustrating to me because it has so many ingredients that I should like, and it sounds so good on paper, and then it just fumbles it in the writing is the main problem
Yeah.
with this movie is the writing. It's who's the writer? Carrie Friedel. Who's that? Looks like, oh, she's only done a couple movies. So, but anyway, it's one of my, I really don't like it.
Yeah. I get
and
it.
and
Yeah.
Andrew Walker, I love him as a human, super nice man, but he has a lot of bad Hallmark movies. I really wish that he would pick his projects a little more carefully.
I do think, I mean, he's fun in those Curious Cater movies. He's fun when he's working with Nikki DeLoach, he really is.
Yeah,
Because I guess because they're such good
I mean,
friends and they work easy together.
I do like Bottled with Love, even though I don't think it's like as good as it was hyped up to be, but I did enjoy it.
Oh man, that hype machine was
Yeah.
was.
And then Snowden Christmas is great. So he's good with Bethany. I
Yeah.
just, yeah, and I like Perfect Catch with Nikki. So he has some good ones. Christmas on My Mind, I really dislike.
I think that
he's
I'd
just
like to see.
had,
Yeah.
he's had a bunch of, and then just this latest, I'm staring at a wall
We
for
gotta
hours
move
movie.
on from him being single and stuff like that. Like, let's
Yeah,
do a
you're
movie
right.
where he's married.
Yeah.
Like put him and Lacey Chabert together. Another movie where they're married and
Yeah.
they're not fighting. They just have to like some obstacle,
Yeah.
planning a party, saving something, whatever,
Yeah.
that they have to work together, or a vacation movie that goes wrong, like
Yeah, it'll be interesting, even though it's Brennan and Lacey. It'll be interesting to see this his and hers
yes, like yeah, it
because
sounds
they're married in
bonkers that,
that
but
and
yeah, they
how
need
that
to move
turns
like him.
out.
Like that's what I want to see. I want to see Andrew Walker married to somebody, right? They go on a vacation and
Yeah.
everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
It's just like one of them, like, oh, it's obviously a rom-com, but they don't have a hotel room. They gotta sleep in a shed or whatever like that. Make it tropical so it looks pretty. But,
Yeah.
like just do something where he's married but not married where they're fighting and getting divorced because there are
Right.
other stories to tell for
We
married people.
yeah. Or like remember that one with Bonnie Somerville, Mom's Night Out or
Yes.
Mom's
Oh,
Mom's
yeah,
Date.
right.
Like that was
Yeah,
fun.
right.
As I
But they
recall,
don't
I
do
haven't
that.
watched it in a long time, but I remember enjoying that. Or that
Yeah.
one with the oh the one with the Christmas strike one with Daphne Ziga.
Oh, that one was on Lifetime. Yes, where
Yeah, you
she
remember
she
that one?
like her family doesn't appreciate her, so she goes on strike.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely.
fun.
Yeah, do something like that, like because some of these I don't want to see like another crisis in
Yeah, I
marriage in
agree.
crisis.
Yeah, I agree.
You know.
Yeah, that would be my advice.
Yeah. Like just
uh
do something different, a little bit
yeah,
imaginative, like not imaginative, but like a little bit out of the box in what you're being
yeah,
because they're pitching holding him in these
yeah,
certain tropes that he's done. So like spread that love.
yeah. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Esther Hatch and her new entry in the Proper Scandal series, A Proper Facade. Get all the swoon-worthy Regency romance you could want with this enticing new story. Nicholas Kendrick, Duke of Harrington, follows the rules of the tone meticulously. When he determines that Mercy Rothschild is the ideal candidate for a wife, he marches dutifully toward her along the courtship path. Desperate to extricate herself from Harrington's advances, Mercy concludes that there is only one course of action. She must push her intended into the arms of another woman. But when Mercy becomes acquainted with the man behind the proper facade, her plans come crashing down as she realizes that stiff and proper Harrington might be the very man she's been waiting for. If only she hadn't been so successful in her plot to thwart her chances with him. Get A Proper Facade wherever you purchase your books or use the affiliate link below. Go to estherhatch.com to learn more. That's estherhatch.com. So I have My Secret Valentine at 7. I have Taste of Summer at 6.
We have this reversed, yeah.
Yeah, but they're both. It's
Yeah.
pick your poison.
Well, I did not know what Taste of Summer was going to be like. Was going to make me angry, but it did.
It's really bad. It's so boring too.
Oh man, like nothing happens.
Mhm.
And why was he had a smirk the entire time on that movie? And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, man, change your expression. But you're right. It must have been the comfort level, and it just didn't play out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can figure out. What do you
Because
think?
it's so bizarre. And it's so bizarre when it comes to Hallmark, especially that these married people never have.
Because I'm
like
thinking,
a
like,
spark.
of course, you have famous couples, and there were couples in real life, in the movies, like a
Yeah.
Spencer and Tracy, or
Yeah.
my mind's got, or like Bogey and Bacall. You have these real life couples.
They worked, yeah.
And it worked. But
well.
yeah, with Hallmark,
It's a mystery.
but that's my theory, is just that they're just so comfortable with that like tension that like that isn't quite there,
Yeah, and it's just
so
like
it's probably
guys.
like it's probably a sign of Rosalind Sanchez and Eric Winter's healthy marriage that they have no chemistry.
Yes, maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong and thinking like, yeah, maybe it is.
It's a sign of that they're doing.
I mean, because if you look at it like a Elizabeth Burton, like Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, and you're like, well, they didn't have the greatest of marriages, married twice, whatever. And Tracy and Hepburn, like you said, that was like an affair. So I don't, because he was married.
Right.
So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Rachel, and I'm being mean. I don't know.
No, it's true. Well, I have to say, so the next 5 I enjoy, and it was hard.
Yes,
I like the rest of these. So it's tough to rank. But what do you have for 5?
I have Autumn Reeser's best food movie, Always Amore. Um, I like this one. It was kind of refreshing because,
Yeah.
she's trying to save the restaurant because it's her husband's legacy, but she's trying to move on and improve it. And like Tyler Hines comes in looking all sexy, trying to help her with that, and they butt heads. But I think it was a slow build up, and I liked them two together. I thought they worked well. And I don't know, this one won me over because usually I just roll my eyes. Like she wanted to keep the restaurant going. She didn't feel like burdened with it because there's a lot of
Yeah.
stories where people feel burdened to keep that legacy alive of a loved one. No, she wanted to. She
Hmm.
wanted to make it work. She was okay, trying to make some changes. And
Yeah,
the and the
I have
pasta
this
looked good.
yeah, I have this one at 4, and that is actually
Yeah.
a big thing is that the food looked
The food
actually
looked good.
really
Yeah.
good in this.
That's a
And like
plus.
the food, like when they're making that family meal, at
Oh
the
yeah.
that it all looked really good. And the kiss was really good in this movie.
Totally.
It was really
Yeah.
swoony. And I don't think they had like amazing chemistry.
No, but they
Like,
worked well
but it
together.
was
Yeah.
like it was decent,
Yeah.
and it had some emotion and heart. You can tell that Julie Sherman Wolf wrote this.
Yeah.
It's got a more quality writer than the previous two we were just talking about.
Yes.
You can it's amazing what a difference it makes. But you can tell. I have this at 4 in the
Yeah.
ranking. I have number 5. I have Magic of Lemon Drops, the newest
Oh.
one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is a fun concept. I'd have to read the novel, which I think the novel is called The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie, which makes
I
sense.
believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So I have to read the novel to
I bet you
see.
it's I bet you it's different, Rachel.
Yeah, I'm
Hands
sure
down.
they change things around. But there is a nice whimsy, some
Yeah,
creativity. I like that the summer nights they're thinking outside the box for these movies. I
totally. I did
appreciate
like the
that.
whimsical of it, yeah. And just the variety that they did, and to make her look different in each of her alternate realities,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought was pretty. And they spent just enough time in those alternate realities to not annoy you as a
Hmm.
viewer.
Hmm.
And
At first, I was like, man, she's pretty unlikable. She's very critical, but she does have an
right.
arc and she does
Yeah,
learn,
yeah, totally.
which I
Like she,
appreciate.
yeah.
And the whole thing with her seeing her mother again,
Oh, so
that
touching.
we were chatting last night while we were watching it. I was like, I guess that's it. Like the meet your mother, your dead mom.
Yeah,
That's a
that's a
card
go
you
for
can
me.
always
Yeah.
play and it'll always work. And I can't even imagine it was for you, with your
Yeah.
mother having passed. Like my mom's still alive and well, thankfully. But still, that's just
I
it
know. I was a
is
sucker for it. I was like,
moving.
oh. And just the things she was saying, she's trying so hard. She thinks what she's doing would be
Yeah.
what her mom's doing. And then she comes to the realization that maybe not so much.
Yeah, and
So,
that her mom didn't actually really care about the diner much at
right.
all. That she was just doing it because it made her
Made her
husband
happy.
happy.
Yeah.
And she was so surprised by that, which
Yeah.
was interesting. And yeah, I liked that. And that is sort of a more complicated. You come to she. It's kind of similar. Like one of the things I like in Back to the Future is that Marty comes to understand his parents as like real people.
Right. Right.
He'd seen them as almost sort of grotesque at the beginning. As these like he's sort of repulsed by them, and by the end he's humanized them, and I love that. And she kind of does that with both
Yeah.
her dad and her mom in this, and that's nice. It's not as good as Take Me Back for Christmas. It's not
Mhm.
as emotional. It didn't get. I mean,
No.
maybe it's just it's never going to be as good as that one, but it really did well. Like it was because I wasn't really like feeling the movie that much. I was like, I don't know,
Right.
but
It's a
and
slow
then
build. Yeah.
that reality, I was like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
It really won me over. And the reason why it's 5 for me is I just did not feel any chemistry
I would agree
between
with you
them.
on that. Yes.
I
They're
just felt
just I
no.
get it. And she's totally hung up on him too. And I was like, whoa. Like he seemed to have moved on easily, but she did not. But at least they weren't bickering. And I did think
Yeah.
that I was like, oh, look at her apologizing for her past. Like she owned up to her mistakes and she wanted to at least be friends with him. And I thought that
Mhm.
was a refreshing take on like
Yeah.
ex lovers or ex, boyfriend and
Mhm.
girlfriend, whatever.
And it
So,
was a
but
fun ending, like with
yeah,
that
it was. But
the
how
dog
she
pushing them into the
that was
lake.
great. That
That
was
was
great.
fun.
I love that. And they ended that way, and I was like, no way.
Yeah.
But seriously, she puts that lemon drop in her mouth and goes straight to sleep. You know you're choking on that, right?
Right.
I'm sorry.
God,
And her
it's true.
last, tell me if it's not true, Rachel, the last alternate reality that she experiences was a little reworking, could have been a Lifetime thriller.
Yeah. No, it's
That is an
true.
episode that I have watched, a true crime episode on
Yeah.
Discovery
Yeah.
ID.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
it is, and
It's
you
true.
when you watch, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that
But I just
was
wasn't feeling that spark between these two actors. It
no, which
just
is a
wasn't
shame because
quite
I
working.
did think that they were all pretty good. I loved the dad too.
Hmm.
I thought he was fun. Like I did think, and the aunt was fun too. And I thought these
Yeah.
are fun. Like they kept the fun of it and the whimsy of it with
Hmm.
being serious and stuff. And I kind of liked it. It was nice to see
Yeah.
something like this on Hallmark.
I did.
So
I did overall like it.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah. So I have Magic Lemon Drops at 5, and then I have
yeah,
Always Amore at 4.
yeah.
And then what you have at 4?
I have Raise a Glass to Love,
Hmm.
which now that I'm thinking about it is probably the best wine movie that Hallmark has
Yeah.
thus far.
I
Uh
have that at 3.
yeah, I was not expecting to like this movie when I first watched it. Like I was like, who
Hmm.
cares about wine? I care. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a wine drinker. I just don't care. But I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
Eh,
the wine parts are boring, but everything
right.
else actually worked pretty well for me. I think they had great chemistry, and I do think the movie is pretty well shot. I think David Weaver
Yes.
he's one of the better directors for
Mhm.
Hallmark, and he like just the way that the winery and the way that the everything was kind of shot showed some skill. And Laura Osnes, like, she's taken some hits in the last couple of years, but I do think she
Yes.
has a really nice presence in these movies, and it has a nice
I agree.
I
Yeah.
like her in these movies, and I think they had nice chemistry together. I mean, this is
Yeah.
a very basic
He's
story,
Oh,
but
totally. And he's super hot. That helped.
yeah.
Yeah. So it made all that stuff swoon worthy and just her relationship
Hmm.
that she
Yeah.
had,
Oh
when he
yeah.
was so
There's a
inconsiderate, bad
real
boyfriend,
yeah, the real bad man of business.
Yeah, totally.
You're like, why are you dating this person?
But it is it is lovely to look at. Like
Yeah.
most of these times, and it sounds like I'm saying this as an insult, but I'm not. When I say these movies are serviceably made, they
Yeah.
look good, but this one is an extra step to that.
Yeah.
It looks sun-kissed sometimes. I think the vineyard looks great, when they shoot that. So
And maybe low
it works for
expectations
me.
helped with this one,
Oh, I
but
think
it was
so
a
too,
lot
for
better than
me.
I expected it to be.
Totally. Like I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is how these wine movies should be. She had a cause. She was helping him out, helping herself out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's weird. It's weird with wine movies and me. Like,
Like Summer in the Vineyard. Oh my gosh, so boring. It's like, is the
then they do the
wine gonna
same
be
thing over
ready? Is it
again.
gonna? It was
It's the
so
same almost plot as Autumn in the Vineyard.
well. At least that had sort of a little bit of fun of their
That one
sharing the
was better,
house,
yeah.
and they divided it in half, and there
Yes,
was
and then
like,
they took all that fun
but
concept
this
out.
was like, is the wine gonna be ready in time? And you're just like, I do not
Probably not. In
care.
real life,
So
probably not.
boring. I don't care about the wine.
Boy,
But
the wine process is frustrating
yeah,
because
it's
as
just
a
not interesting.
as my people, sometimes even if they live in an apartment, they will have in their yard, if they have one, some grapes
Uh-huh.
growing.
Yeah.
And if they're so inclined, they'll be crushing them grapes for some
Hmm.
wine, and it's just like not ready yet, or like, how dare you give me this wine?
But it could be like anything. Like it could be
Yeah,
like, I don't drink wine, but it doesn't
yeah.
matter. Like it could be a root beer making, and I
Exactly. Like,
drink root
yes,
beer.
I
I don't
was still
care.
invested.
But
Yeah, I was invested in how it
it's
was brought
not
up.
interesting to be like, is it going to turn out like these? I call them scientific farmer movies. You know, where
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
is it going to be like the perfect pear or the poinsettia or the tulip? You know, it's like they're just not interesting 99% of the time.
Right.
And that's why maybe I went into this one with pretty low expectations. Also, this had one of
Same.
the funniest of the little people, tiny people posters.
Oh
For
my
Hallmark.
gosh, Rachel, so funny. And they tweaked it a bit too. Remember the original
Yeah.
poster and they made it even smaller? I was like, come on, guys.
I
I think the
loved,
original was them coming out of the champagne, right? To pouring in the champagne bottle before
yeah,
they
I
if
think
I
so.
remember.
And then them standing on the wine bottle
My
with the wine
gosh.
coming out
Yeah.
is hilarious.
So
Tiny
funny.
people posters.
So funny. But I did
I would
laugh every time.
I would love nothing more than to talk to the Hallmark poster person. If you're listening,
We
Hallmark
have
poster
got to get
person,
this
I
done.
love and admire your work. I'm not even kidding. So
Are
please
you?
come on our show.
I would like to know if they are okay.
I would
If they are
love to
working
talk to you.
under, are you working under, under some constraints? Because sometimes a poster don't come out until after the movie premieres. So I don't know if this
Or
person's
it'll be
okay.
like days of. I'll have an interview with an actor
It cannot
that
be a team of
that
people
I'm
doing this.
that
No
I'll have an
way.
interview with an actor for that week. And there's no poster. And and I'm posting it never fails.
I
I'm posting the
know.
interview on Monday, the Monday of the movie week
Right.
coming
No
out.
poster up.
No poster. And then they'll post it like that day or the next day. You're just like, are you crazy? Like, how
What's
can
going
we
on?
not
Like,
have
are
a
you okay? Because it
poster?
cannot be a team, Rachel. Imagine it's a team of 15 people. No way. It's one person. I want to
Yeah,
know, are you
yeah.
okay? Are you
That's what I'm
overworked?
saying.
Need a
Poster
vacay?
person at Hallmark
All
Media.
right.
Please. I want to talk to you.
How long does it take you to figure out whether you want to make the people small or large or just
Yeah.
put photoshopped like when they do their sometimes when they do their promos they just merge them together in Photoshop with like a blue or
Yeah.
yellow background.
Yeah. I
You
want
know
to I
what?
want to know. And
Some
then
of them
when
are unhinged. I'm
well
okay with it.
also also what inspires you to change the color of the dress
All the
that
time
the
this happens.
girls all
All
the
the
time?
time.
You know, whether it's changing Danica's dress from blue to green or what's her name in there's one where they change it from pink to blue.
I think that's the
Amanda
Brooke
Schul.
Diorcy. Don't they do that the same with Brooke Diorcy in that Christmas movie
Yes, they
she did
did it
with
with
Will
Rich
Kemp?
Ursay.
And
Yes.
they did it just recently with a Greek recipe for love.
And they did it with Ashley Williams in Random
I
Hearts
guess it's the
or
color scheme that they're
Holiday
going
Hearts or whatever that
for.
one was called.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
color scheme. I think it's
I
going
want to
for that.
know what inspires a change of color. And I just Hallmark posters are fascinating. The cool, crisp days of fall are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time to go back to school thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this month with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced. Head to factormeals.com/Hallmarkies50. Use the code Hallmarkies50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code Hallmarkies50 at factormeals.com/Hallmarkies50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. But what do you have at 3?
This is where I put magic I wrote
Okay.
majestic over here. The magic lemon drops.
Yeah.
So I just think it's whimsical.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's fresh. It's a fresh
It was
idea.
fun. Yeah, I agree. So what do you have at 2?
This was a real, these last two had me going, but
I
I put
know.
Sweeter Than Chocolate for 2.
I went back and forth because
Yeah.
I love both of these movies.
I know, me too.
But
I ended up going Sweeter Than Chocolate. I put for myself too. Yeah.
I put Love, Romance, and Chocolate at 2.
Get it. Yeah.
But I really do love both of them. So I
know this one was so hard. I was like, oh. But the reason I put Love, Romance, and Chocolate number 1 was because of the sexy way that they temper that chocolate.
Yeah, she's
with Lacey wearing her best shirt ever. Coming in, with the president, never get dirty. Because I do love it, because it does remind me of a sort of dance that they do in making that chocolate. Yeah. And it's so
fun.
It's so fun, and it's so like, why is this hot? Like,
well, and I love them like gallivanting all around Bruges and everything,
yeah.
and
but that's what won me over for that.
Yeah, I get that. But they do
have
both in Sweeter Than Chocolate. They do have they have some sexy chocolate making scenes there too.
Also based Sweeter Than, absolutely. I just loved, and Sweeter Than Chocolate is also based on a Hallmark book that they had at the time, right?
And it actually improves on the book.
Oh, because I know I have it. I believe I have not yet read it. But
yeah,
I loved their chemistry, and he's like, I can't believe I have to do this to her. I don't believe in nothing. And it's true, the way they make chocolate, they made it look interesting. Because, like, you ever watch these YouTube videos where you see people make desserts and chocolates? None of that looks sexy, None of that looks like,
yeah. Like I love Lizzie Shane, who wrote the book. She's been on our show a number of times. She's great. And it's not a horrible book, but it's just a little, they definitely tightened it. You can tell Tracy Andreen got involved in the script, because she might be my favorite. I mean, she is really good for these Hallmark projects, and they took a good story with potential, and they tightened it up a lot and made it
usually they go the opposite way when they adapt books. Hallmark,
yeah, that's
I get it. They have to make it fit into their
who is my favorite. We could do a ranking of that would be hard, but Tracy Andreen is up there. I mean, The Holiday Sitter, Christmas Getaway, Kiss Before Christmas, Christmas Joy, Snow Bride, Ice Sculpture Christmas. I mean, It's Christmas Eve, 2 Tickets to Paradise. I Christmas of the Darlings, I like. I mean, she has this one, Sweeter Than Chocolate, Love of Course, All for Love. Like,
I love Love of Course. I didn't even realize that was her.
Yes,
I should have known it, because it's so
Stranded in Paradise is good. She is really good.
She might be the queen.
Yeah. It's like a battle between, there's a battle between her.
Maybe we should rank her films.
Yeah, we could.
I wonder.
A lot, but
I do wonder sometimes in these movies that we don't like that much, for whatever reason. It doesn't work with casting or the script.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of reasons could happen to it. I wonder, when you look up the writer and you're like, oh, this person hasn't done much, if that's just a Poseidon, or, like somebody just writing under a different name. I pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, pseudonym. Poseidon. I'm thinking of a Poseidon ship. Rachel, I have my allergies. It's early. I don't know what I'm doing today. I apologize.
Yeah.
I haven't had any caffeine in days. I'm dying because I don't drink coffee. I drink caffeine. So I'm going through the throes of it right now. I'm sorry, people.
The only reason that I decided to put Love, Romance, and Chocolate at 2 is because, even though I think it does the love triangle about as well as you could do it, I still think that I would prefer Sweeter Than Chocolate, Don's love triangle, than the
it was not necessary, the love triangle.
Like they kind of, I think the actors lean into the camp of it, and so I don't mind it, but I don't know, I was going back and forth, and I just think that Sweeter Than Chocolate is just like a hair better, just a little bit better. in that it doesn't have that element of the love triangle and the
Yeah,
how could
no,
you
I agree
betray
with you. It's
me,
so
and
hard for
kind
these
of element of all of that. But I do like, on the same breath, I do kind of like him being jealous.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. So whatever. They're
And
both
I do
good.
love Lacey Chabert and Will Kemp. They're just so
Yeah,
much
they're
fun
great.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, they are top tier Hallmark. And I do think actually that Danjana is one of the more underrated leading guys for
Hmm.
these movies. I mean, I love Ghost of Christmas Past. I liked The Royal Nanny. Um,
Yes, the Royal Nanny was fun.
yeah, I don't know. I just think even in a movie I don't like, I still think he's coming and delivering, you
Yeah,
know? And so but yeah, this movie really knew what it Sweeter Than Chocolate really knew what it was.
totally. Yeah.
And David Weaver, another from him, then he knows how to direct these movies. He does, he did Raise a Glass to Love,
Yeah.
and he knows how to make swoony movies.
Totally.
And we could do a ranking of his movies. He did
Oh,
Bottle
that's
with
true. Yeah.
Love. He did Christmas Town, which I love. He did Lights, Camera, Christmas, Christmas to Remember, going back. Playing Cupid is cute. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. He has some duds in there too, but yeah, he knows how to make something like he he approaches it, I think, kind of like an old school like soap opera slash just like old school swoony romance,
Yeah.
and knows how to kind of get that feeling about it, and I appreciate that.
Knows
So
how to get
this,
those shots. Yeah.
especially this ending, oh my gosh, it's so
Oh, I know.
romantic.
So romantic. I don't know if I would eat a chocolate like that. It's too much pressure. I'm gonna find my love. Do I want to find my love?
It is a lot of pressure.
Question mark. I
Yeah.
mean, you get to a certain point and in a certain age, like I'm
If you,
single and I'm okay.
yeah.
I'm so set in my ways. I'm like, eh.
But it was really fun, all the little couples that they
Oh,
show
too, that
along the
was so sweet.
way.
Yeah, and then
That
they
was really
interview. That was
nice.
fun.
Kind
Kind
of
of
a
reminded
When
me a
Harry
little
Met
bit of,
Sally.
yes, I was just about to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Feel, or Annie Hall,
Hmm.
which is fun. And so it was really good.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best from Hallmark last year.
Oh, it was my favorite
Mm.
last year, and then Take Me Back to Christmas was
Oh,
my favorite.
so,
So
so good.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
surprisingly good.
It really was. It really was. But there we go. We did it. We ranked the
Yay!
Rom-com-athon. We survived the Rom-com-athon of 2024. But yeah, so I have at number 1, I have Sweeter Than Chocolate. 2, Love, Romance, and Chocolate. 3, Raise a Glass to Love. 4, Always Amore. 5, The Magic of Lemon Drops. 6, Taste of Summer. And 7, My Secret Valentine.
And I have at 1, Love, Romance, and Chocolate. Number 2 is Sweeter Than Chocolate. 3, Magic of Lemon Drops. 4 is Raise a Glass to Love. 5 is Always Amore. 6, My Secret Valentine. And 7 is A Taste of Romance. Beware, people. Just gonna hold a grudge.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
up ungodly early, Rachel. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning watching this movie, and I'm like, and I don't have caffeine. This is what happens. All right.
Yes.
I have a problem.
Well,
I
so
need to get a caffeine patch, Rachel, I
I
think.
asked on Twitter and on our Patreon group, which y'all should
Yeah.
join the Patreon. We give lots of benefits. We have the watch-alongs. We have Q&As. Really fun. So I asked on there, what is your favorite of the Taste of Love marathon coming up? And Anne, our friend Anne, says one of the chocolates. So we agree.
Yes.
James Butt says Sweeter Than Chocolate, of course. Mary says Love, Romance, and Chocolate is tied with Sweeter Than Chocolate.
Yep.
And Christina says Love, Romance, and Chocolate. I always need to have a box of chocolate handy every time I watch it because I end up craving some the moment Emma walks into Luke's shop. Sweeter Than Chocolate and Always Amore round out my top 3. So we agree there.
Yep.
And then let me see on
The chocolate movies are for the win.
yeah, I mean it's a clear victory. Shalomas Gross says sweeter than chocolate. So yeah, it was really good.
Yep.
It was really good.
So they
So
picked some winners here
yeah.
and two questionable ones. I feel bad
Yes.
for hating on A Taste of Summer. Like, guys, it's all right. I hope
Yeah.
you're still
As we-
happily married and stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
As we
But
always say, they made something, we have not made anything. So way to go.
no, that is true.
It's just a matter of
How
taste.
dare you?
It's just a matter of preference. But let us know what you think and how you would rank them in the comment section or on Twitter. And make sure you check out the Patreon. You would love it, I know. And Terry, where can people find you?
At Twitter at Flurry Heaven.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmark's Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot, especially as we're going into this Christmas season. Having those reviews and rankings really, really, really helps people to find the pod. So please take a second to do that. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Most of our viewers on YouTube aren't subscribers. So if you're in that camp, please hit that little subscribe button. It really helps the algorithm a lot. And we would really appreciate it. And like I said, we have the Patreon, which is the best way you can support us. And we really try to make it worth your while, give lots of benefits and bonuses and everything. So please take a look at that. And we have our merch store where you can get lots of fun designs, including some fall designs that we have on there that are really fun. So definitely take a look at that. And thanks so much, everybody. Happy rom-com-athoning. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.